right? If you haven't gone through, if you haven't gone through if you haven't gone through the onboarding stuff, please go ahead and go through the onboarding stuff, right? Now, the onboarding stuff can be found over here in the pinned messages on my channel, or I can just go through this. This is a video, right? A video for an onboarding section on teaching you guys how to use the Discord server, what you guys need to do, and also how to understand my alerts better. Okay, or if not, you guys want to do more, if you guys don't want to watch the entire video, you guys can go to this VIP onboarding section here, click on this, all right, and then it should let you go to the things that you want to know. So for those of you guys who want to know about uh I would say use about my rules and stuff, how to follow my alerts. Click on this, and there will be 4 threads for you guys to go through. All right, I'm not gonna take this time to go through right now. All right, I hope that you guys, honestly, you guys can uh go through this, all right, and then go ahead and ask me questions after. Okay, you guys can go through this, ask me questions after, right? But one thing is the how to read and understand breakout alerts. All right. Now, for those of you guys who have been looking at my breakout alerts, okay, well, this is where I will say like, taking break, taking 2:30 break. So that means that I'm adding it after the candle closes above 2:30 on the 1 minute chart. Or if I feel like the last 5 seconds, the candle is going to close above 2:30, then I can add it beforehand as well. But my stop loss, if I don't mention anything else, is going to be under 2:30. So this video is going to simplify, or rather explain the entire process right here. Now, for the uh for the uh for this approach over here, right? For this approach over here, um you need to make sure that you're not using Heiken Aishi candles, right? This is one mistake that one of you guys did, and I also didn't realize that because I personally never ever used Heiken Aishi. So when the person used Heiken candles, the breakout plays did not resonate with the chart did not resonate with my breakout play because I was using the a normal chart for the breakout information. So you have to make sure that this part is fixed, right? This part over here it has to be fixed. You got to make sure that you don't use Heiken candles. Okay? Now for those of you guys who are swing, for those of you guys who are swinging, right? Then you guys can focus on Diana swings, O7 swings, right? These two are small cap swings for you guys to kind of for this kind of, I would say, plays over here. And then the 1% plays are for the 1% plays are for, I would say, large cap swings, right? Large cap swings where there is no where you guys don't like the volatility in small caps, then this is where you guys can look for this. Right? It's a little bit easier for some of you guys on this, okay? And the options I'm not gonna talk too much about it. Okay, all right. So let's see. Okay, so let's answer some questions right now. All right, 1 second. Let's answer some questions. I'm gonna pause first and answer some questions right now. Some questions. All right, one question from let's see. Was QMMM still having volumes? I got in at $19. Abhishek, I don't know why you got in 19, but the hell is this? Oh, you got in at 19? Bro, what the fuck? Why are you asking me whether you should hold on to this? You should be green. Go and sell, take your profits. You should never ever, you guys, whenever you guys are gonna ask me how high do you think this can go, my answer to you is always gonna be I do not know. There's no way I could know. Like I tell you to sell over here because it's dropping, but the next day volume comes in and starts reversing. How the fuck was I gonna know that? There's no way I could know. If you're in at $19 and this thing hits 167 and you take no profits, right? That's really on you. Okay, because it's not realistic for every single stock to go from 19 to 167 like this. Right? This is not normal, by the way, right? If you guys day trade on a day-to-day basis, you should know what I'm talking about. Okay, so you do you over here. It's like open, right? I'm still in over here for open at around 320, 330 based on the previous alert. We hit $10, right? Do I sell everything? Because it dropped. But what if 2 days later it recovers to $13, $14, So the key thing is you take your profits on the way up, and once you have an amount that you're comfortable to just hold through, so long as the trend doesn't break down, then you just hold on to it. Now, for the case of QMMM, this is very different because this is a Chinese stock over here, right? And it's how am I supposed to put this? This is a Chinese stock over here, and this is not something that it's the range is so extended and big that it's impossible for you to kind of know if this is gonna bounce off here or pull back because it has made too big of a move, right? How do you know? Yeah, so but you're in at 19, so that's good. Just keep it that way. That's all. But all I'm saying this is Abhishek, if you're in at $19, and even if it goes to 20 or even 21, and you took no profits, all right? Because right now, I'm not sure. You got it at $19. Maybe you didn't take anything, and right now it's 167 or $300, and maybe you were lucky with it. Okay, you might have the negative mindset of thinking that every single play is gonna move like that. You will end up losing more money than you make in QMMM in the long run. Unless you tell me you're gonna stop trading after this QMMM. All right. Do you think there will be a market pullback for Christmas? I do not know. Okay, I really do not know. There is never a schedule on how the market moves. Even the seasonality, people are saying September is always going to be slow, August or September is going to be slow. Has it been slow? Has things been slow? It hasn't. Things has been crazy, right? Last week we had multiple 1,000% runners, right? Crazy. Things hasn't been slow at all, not one bit. Because I mean, this is for small caps, though. Small caps is just very random. All right, they'll be fast and slow anytime they want. Michael Ben, I joined yesterday and have gone through the onboarding. Is there anything else I need to do before I start trading? I have a Weibo account ready. Please advise. Michael, now if you've gone through the onboarding section, all right, which should be this over here. Um, look at this. One second. Which should be this over here, right? Okay, then if you have Webull, make sure that you have Turbo Trader set up. Okay, and then make sure that of course you just first started trading, right? You're gonna want to be getting used to your trading Turbo Trader setup. So my advice to you is to paper trade or trade with super small amounts just to get used to the system before you start to actually trade properly. Before you actually start to trade properly. Okay, because I mean, just because you have it all set up doesn't mean that you're gonna be immediately good. Okay. How do you place buy and sell orders during pre-market hours, especially when dealing with fast-moving stocks that risk slipping past intended price targets? Can you show an example? At this goal, I'm gonna ask you this, right? What broker are you using and what are you trading on, PC or phone? All right, again, let me reply to me. You gotta reply me this first so that I know how to continue. At Disco. Hello. You can reply to me anytime you want. Now I'm gonna move on first. What broker are you using? And what is it on phone or you're using PC Thinkorswim? How do you place buy and sell orders during pre-market hours, especially when dealing with fast-moving stocks that risk slipping past intended price targets? Um, so if you're using Thinkorswim, so this is pretty much the same one as I'm using, right? Now, of course, the on-demand feature doesn't work in pre-market, so I cannot show you guys how this thing works. Now one example is going to be this over here, right? I'll just briefly show you guys how it works, okay? If you have a Thinkorswim pre-market, you want to trade pre-market, right? Now pre-market in Thinkorswim starts at 7, all right? Not 4, but 7 a.m. Eastern. And during this period, you got to change your time in force to AM, all right? So there's no AM over here, but if you go over to your proper broker setup, right, that should that's not on demand, there should be this AM for time in force. Correct? At this goal, is that it for you? So you just have to watch the market, right? Watch the chart as you're in it. Yeah, if you just gotta watch the chart, um, as you're in it, buy, and then if it pops, be ready, and then sell. That's it. That's how fast it is. I mean, there's no other way. You can see how fast this execution is. You gotta make sure that you have the auto send button as well, on and off. right? Like this one over here. So you got to check it because if you don't check it, then there's going to be a prompt button that comes up that wastes time. Let me show you guys again. That wastes time. Let me show you all. Okay, there should be a prompt button that holds up. Then this thing wastes time, right? If you have it checked, right, you can just buy and it fills. That's how fast it is. So there's no prompt button that comes up. Okay. So I never ever put limit sell orders. I never ever set sell limit orders, by the way. I manually buy and sell. I never ever. Hey guys, yo, I'm just gonna preface. I'm just gonna let you guys know this. When I say QMMM 220 new half a day, it does not mean I sold at 220, right? I'm just updating you guys. Probably sold at 215, 216. I does when I say something is new half, it does not mean I sold at two that high a day. There's no way I can catch that. That's crazy. All right, one example is gonna be let me see if I find it here. Right, when I say 360 VNC 360, it does not mean I took profit at 360. Right, I could be probably taking at 355 or 354. Yeah, all right. So I never ever I never ever set sell limit orders in advance because we don't know how high a stock is going to go. Okay? Unless you know. If you know, then fine. But if you don't know, imagine if you set a sell limit for 554. The stock hits 553 and dumps all the way down to $1. So a supposedly green trade for you became red because you were greedy for 1 cent. Does it make sense? It doesn't, right? So you manually watch your position. As I already said, if you guys want to day trade, you got to stay focused. If you cannot stay focused, do not day trade because you're just going to end up losing money for no reason. Okay. Is open still worth for new entries? I haven't really been looking at the chart, so probably not. Is it okay to follow my own strategy, something that suits my personality? Is this the ultimate goal? Oh no, yeah, of course not. If you want to follow your strategy, you can. I mean, at the end of the day, all these stuff over here is to kind of help you guys understand the market better. You have to understand that these are signals, right? These are at the end of the day, these are signals. These are alerts. Okay, you and the key thing of what an alert does is that it alerts you guys what to do. That's it. Okay, but if you want to learn how to find out your own strategy, right? Something that suits your personality. Okay, this is where you come in for the end of day trading session every single day. Ask questions, come for the weekend session, ask questions, right? To kind of craft your own style, right? I'll ask questions in trading chat. Okay? All right, Maria, I have two questions. It has happened to me twice before so far. You mentioned the stock with break of $2. I had opportunity to enter at not 197, but I waited as you suggested in your onboarding video. However, the next candle it went to 237 and never did back. In this case, should I be taking an entry of 230 or wait till it dips to close to 2? At what price should I stop trading the stock? Now, to answer this question, number one, should you be taking entry at 2.3? The answer is yes, right? And your stop loss is going to be under $2. Okay? If you feel like, okay, let's just say from 2 to 237, okay, on that very exact candle, the breakout is very strong, and you feel like, all right, if you feel like this over here, right, from 2 to 237, right, that move up, right, that move up is I would say very violent, and you feel like next 5 seconds the candle is going to close above 237, you can add it on the same candle itself because if the candle closes in the next 5 seconds, it's still going to be above 230. Sorry, $2, which is the breakout, right? So you can take it, right? You can add some to 230 or 220 something depending on where it's at. If it dips down to near $2, you can add more if you want, but your stop loss is going to be under $2. The key thing is that you should take an entry when the candle closes and then play around dips if you want, but your stop loss is going to be under $2. At what price should you stop chasing the stock when it starts making new highs again? Is this coming week Zone and Thursday Doge ETF feel viable? Probably so. I mean, it could be a sympathy, right? Because Zone does have the Dogecoin sympathy, but um there's no guarantee, right? Because small caps they really just run if there's volume. There's no volume, nothing's gonna happen. Explain a bit of swing trading over day trades as well. Large. So this is explained already inside the second. This is already explained inside your onboarding section over here for for the channel itself, not even just VIP, right? Let me see. Okay. So it's over here. The direction, the difference between swing trading and day trading. It's all here. You see it? Swing trading requires less attention, ideal for one with a day job, does not require a broker that supports day trading because you can do it on your phone, right? Able to do it on the phone. Like I said, slower gains, no instant gratification. Of course, you gotta wait sometimes. Not ideal for someone with no patience. Day trading, instant gratification, but can be big. Position can last for a few seconds to hours. Able to catch potential squeeze moves. Requires a broker that supports day trading. Like what I showed you guys just now, right? When I bought and sell the shares. And of course, it does increase more exposure to losses as well because you are going to be picking 2 to 3 stocks to trade out of out of 10 stocks that might be currently moving, right? And it's best to do it on PC like what I'm doing right now instead of a phone, and it requires a lot of attention. It's not ideal for someone who has a day job for sure, but it's still possible. But you will need to set a schedule time frame for the day where you can just trade without distraction, and it has to be consistent. So one example is, let's say you have a day job from 10 to 9:30 to 5, for example. But during this day job, you have access to a PC, and during this hour from 9:30 to 10:30, nobody's gonna disturb you. You can do whatever you want. Then every single day, you trade 9:30 to 10:30. After that, you take whatever results you get and go back to your day job because that should be your priority. Okay? All right. So that's that. Questions on swings. Given the day job, it makes more sense for me. Are there any educational materials I can review? Oh, sorry. So unfortunately, we do not have any swing education for now. And Tyrone, but we are working on that, right? Which will be coming out hopefully by the end of this year. Okay. Thank you for the session. How can I avoid being stopped out when I have a plan and the price touches my stop and playing slightly above it before assuming it will go up? I mean, it's a tricky situation. No, yeah, no. So Ronnie, right? This is one of the things about trading. You cannot have everything perfect as through the plan. I can say stop on the 230, right? But when I sell, I might sell at 227, 226. Okay, it's the same thing, right? If I were to tell you guys to add at $2 and look for 220, and let's say the stock has a squeeze candle, it hits 240. Now, Ronnie, let me ask you this: Are you gonna say no to take profits at 240 and wait for the stock price to drop to 227 and take it? Because if you are, that's crazy. Correct? It's the same thing, right? If the stock breaks down at 227, 226, okay, are you going to wait for this to go back up to 230 to sell, to stop loss, or are you just going to cut? Because there's also the possibility of this just continue to drop even further, right? Okay, so there is no such thing as avoid being stopped out, right? I would say it would help if, let's say, you're in a position and it goes up, right? And you take profits. So this way, right now, psychologically speaking, your position is buffered with profits. You will not feel the trepidation of being inside the trade, right? You'll feel more comfortable because you know that, hey, it's fine. Even if this thing drops a little bit, I give back a bit of profits here and there. That's just how it is, right? But if there isn't any sort of profit taking scenarios, you're in and then it just starts dropping. You just have to respect the plan. That's it. You can't avoid losses, guys. Okay, that's never a statement in trading. There is no okay. One way you can avoid losses is just don't trade. You will never lose for sure. Yeah, that's the only answer. You can't avoid losses unless you don't trade. Please do not offer 2 shares at the same time. One share is preferred due to the tight timing. That's not how it works. Okay, Zoom user, that's not how it works. Okay, when there are 2 stocks running, with the same news, right? Let's say stock A. All right. Oh, a second. Why am I not able to annotate? Okay. If let's say stock A is doing this. Okay. Stock B is doing this. Both are the same. One might do this. One might do this. Both, but before this move actually happened, you wouldn't know, right? So let's say both are actually breaking out. I mean, you could take this over here, and you could take this here. right? And if this thing breaks down, you cut this and then you focus entirely on this. There's no such thing as finding one play out of everything. I mean, I can if I'm a swing trader, but I'm a day trader. We trade the momentum and stuff. Yeah. All right. Can you do live trading during pre-market or regular trading hours for at least once a week? We'll see how it goes, right? I mean, I've been doing the EOD session recently with you guys, and I've done some live trading on it as well. So, it might be even more than once a week, but it really depends on how after hours is going to be. Can you share how you identify levels for breakout? Blah, blah, blah. Yes, that's fine. So what I look for in breakouts are little things called price action separation. All right. So where do I look for these levels? Right. These levels are generally found on the daily chart. Okay. All right. I'm not going to use QMMM as the example, but we could use ISPC for example. So ISPC, right? We got a so now over here we have a couple. We see the chart, right? So this is the daily chart over here. So let's just say, for example, I'm going to say this. Okay, ISPC, because there's a red candle over here. This is the top of the wick. I'm going to say 160 break for ISPC, right? And I look to the left. Oh shit, my bad. I look to the left and it makes sense, right? There's quite a bit of price action separation over here. And if I want to tighten this up a little bit, right? Um I could say this. No, I could even say this, to be honest. Right? What is this? 160? 159? I could say 160, right? I could say 160 over here. Yeah? And once the levels are marked out, then I go over to the 1 minute chart. Okay, and then I can say 160 break. And then because I know VWAP is there, I'll say stop loss under 155. So when this thing breaks out, you add over here, right? Have a stop loss on the VWAP, and then just play it. Of course, there are certain other stuff, right? How do you identify levels for breakouts? It's not just like that, but generally you want to look at the key idea over here is looking at price action separation or using your EMAs as well. Hi Dion, what's your experience in the market during December? Last year December was very good. It was like Christmas, right? It was raining gifts for everyone. But I'm not sure how it's gonna be this time. Let us know the open play next week. So much social media hype. I'm still riding my shares from my initial alert at 320, so we'll see how it goes. When you say WLDS, if $8 break go in, do you wait until certain position? No, 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 no. If it just breaks it, I'll take it because WLDS is trading at a very wide range, right? So if it breaks eight, like for example, right? If I were to say 10, I said $10 break the other day, right? On Friday. So oh, sorry, no, so I said $10 break on Friday, right? So over here, when it broke 10, okay, I saw it was a very strong breakout. I was in at 10:30s and 10:27. I didn't wait for the candle to close because it was very strong. And then it pops, we take it. Obviously, you don't buy over here anymore, right? You want to take it when the candle breaks out, not after, right? You could take it over here at 10:50 as well because you see the candle's gonna close. You take it at 10:50, it's still pop for you, right? But you don't add it like after, okay? Because it's gonna be very different. Sometimes they go, sometimes they don't. But there's no strategy over there. It's based on luck. Can you give us a class of technical analysis for new VIP members? Look, there is a educational course over here under infographics, I think. No, sorry, trading course, right? You can look at technical analysis here. Download this and read this PDF first. The best way for you to learn technical analysis is by, again, joining the day-to-day VIP recap, right? VIP trades recap that I host every day from Monday to Friday at 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern. And let's just say you cannot make it, right? Let's say you cannot make it because of your commitments and stuff. They are all recorded and posted inside recorded review so you can go through them. So there's no excuse, all right? How do you decide how to size a position? Okay, so for me, my positions are sized in based on how much I'm willing to lose, right? Obviously, it depends. Sometimes with the lottos, I'll buy more depending or whatever the case is, right? So now let's just see over here. Okay. Um, let's say for example, my portfolio size is $10,000. Okay, and let me see if this person is still here. Aaron Lanner. Oh, he's still here. Okay, let's say my portfolio size, right, is $10,000. So I will come up with a system for myself. I'll say this, okay? Every single trade that I take, I want to lose 1 to 3% only. So that means that my risk, right, 1 to 3% of $10,000 is 100, okay, to $300. Right, that's 1 to 3%. So that means that every single trade that I take, If it doesn't work out, I lose either $1 to $300, depending on how much risk I want to take. So let's say if let's say the stop is at $2, right? The plan is to stop under 180. Okay. The plan is to stop under 180. So that means that if I buy X amount of shares at $2, if it stops under 180, I'm only gonna lose $100 to $300 depending on how many shares I want to buy. So this way you will never blow up your account because you're sizing in based on how much you're willing to lose. And that also puts the responsibility of you making money on the stock going up. Okay. All right. So hi Dion. I joined on Tuesday, been losing. I just start setting stop loss on Friday, but it takes me out the trade. What's your advice on stop loss on TP? Does stop loss apply to options too? I'm gonna stop option chat. You said no, thank you. No, I don't think they do. I don't know. I don't trade options, right? I don't know if they actually set TP and stop loss, but I don't think as a day trader anyone actually does that, right? Unless you really got to step away. Most people actively watch and manage that position, right? If you join and you've been losing, it might not be because of TP and SL. What are you actually doing wrong over here, Fa? Right? What are you actually doing wrong over here? You know? Right? I think that should be the real question right now. What are you actually doing wrong? Like, why are you losing? Are you following multiple people? You're not sticking to a plan, right? Do you set stop losses at targets you share? No. I mean, when I give a play, the stop loss is there. The stop loss plan is there, but I I don't the stop loss plan is there, but it doesn't mean that I'm I mean you can see it's there, it's given, right? So I'll let you guys know if I ship it up or if I set a stop loss, but the stop loss plan is there. Any education options on understanding how Mike plays his options? Then you have to join his live session and ask questions. He does it for Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or ask him questions in the option chat, or drop him a DM. Fa. I think that's the easiest for you. All right, drop him a DM. Is there a way I can watch all the videos you have on your channel? It's all here. I mean, what kind of videos you talking about first though? Like, because there are instructional videos in this PPT alerts, but if you want the EOD reviews, then they are all inside here, recorded reviews. Last week was my first green week. And the change was when I started to scale on the way up. Yeah, correct. That's how you're supposed to do because none of us can ever know how high a stock's gonna go and how far a stock's gonna go, or whether that stock is going to go. The live trading session I could do. I mean, I'm doing the 4 p.m. recap every single day already. Sometimes I'll do live trades if I see an opportunity there. Like I've shown you guys a couple of times as well, right? So we'll see how it goes. Okay. What if the price hits stop loss then fires up? But Henry, you see, what if the price hits stop loss and continues to drop? You're asking a very hypothetical question that you cannot answer, that you have no answer to. You're anything that has to do with what if, right? It's bullshit. It's bullshit already. That means you will never ever have a plan that you can stick to. So I can ask you this, right? What if the price hits stop loss, then drops another 20%? You understand, Henry? The key thing here is just to respect your plan. When it hits, then it hits, right? If not, if it hits stop loss and fires up, get back in again. Then what's wrong with that? Because what if it hits the stop loss and drops all the way down? You see, that's where you have no plan. There will never be an end to figuring out what the answer to this question is. You just gotta have a plan and stick to it. I have an account with 1,500 in an account in Robinhood, but I'm not able to day trade because I have a limit of day trades. Maxim again. No, it's 1 to 3% loss of a portfolio. So that means that if you lose 1 to 3% of your portfolio, not the trade itself. You're losing it on your portfolio, not the trade itself. Don't forget that. It's 1 to 3% of your portfolio, not the trade itself. I'm not talking about the trade. Okay, it's your portfolio loss. Maxim, you need to go through the onboarding section again. This is all I have to say. Right, you click on start here at the start. Get started trading onboarding. Right, you will have your brokers that we recommend you to use. Okay, we clearly don't recommend Robinhood. And the account type is very important. So you haven't gone through this, right? You clearly haven't gone through this because you're asking this question. right? Clearly, you can see that over here as a cash account. If you're under below 25,000, you still have unlimited day trades. If you have a margin account below 25,000, then you will have limited day trades like what you have right now. So you should change it to a cash account and change your broker to something else, unless you are using Robinhood for options. What play should we be looking at Monday for Monday, please? I don't know. I like to take it easier on a Monday because it's a new week, new theme. I don't know what's gonna run, so I like to take it easier on Monday. I use 4 to 7 to kind of gauge what moves, and then I'll start taking action after 7 o'clock. Yeah, so Siri, if you know pre-market is where you can't you have no confidence, right? It moves too fast, so your orders to get filled, then trade during market hours. You guys always got to trade in conditions where you guys can uh fulfill and actually really perform at. Why would you want to put yourself in a situation where you know that you're not gonna perform at? And you expect to make money doing that shit? That's crazy, right? So you know you're good, that's great. Now all you have to do is just to stay consistent and stick to that timing that you're good at. No, I'm not looking at open door for any sort of potential re-entries and stuff. I think it's way too high right now. We gotta look at it from an intraday perspective. All right, it's way too high. There is so far from EMAs. There's a gap over here. You need to watch how it does intraday. Right now, there's just no entry model at all. You guys are just trying to force it because of hype. I mean, hype can definitely push it, but if there's no hype, what are you gonna do? This thing price is gonna drop. You gotta see how this thing performs on Monday. Okay, guys, any other further questions? Pause. Do you think AMD can go, guys? I would never know, right? If you ask me, do I think AMD can go higher than 165? My answer is yes, right? Probably, but if you're gonna ask me when, I don't know. Probably to tomorrow, probably next day, probably next year, right? Will it go higher than 165? Probably so. Maybe in 10 years' time, maybe in 5 years' time, maybe in 2 years' time. Nobody else is gonna know. If a stock is $40 and stop loss is 35, is that okay? I mean, it's okay if that's your trading plan. You gotta look at the chart, right? Is why is your stop loss at 35? Why is your stop loss at 35? Is that what the chart is telling you? Right? Or is it better for you to have a stop loss at $38 instead? You don't just put random numbers out there far. There needs to be your trading plan has to be based on what the chart is telling you. You're just random. This is right now. You're just randomly putting numbers in right now. I can do it. I mean, you should not do that. Imagine I trade risking 1% of my portfolio every time. My stop loss can't be what? What do you mean, guys? You're complicating things. Okay. Again, portfolio $10,000. So you're telling yourself every single trade that you take, if it doesn't work out, your risk, you'll lose 1 to 3% of your portfolio. We'll make it simple, 1%. Right. So you're telling yourself that every single trade that you take, right? If it doesn't work out, you will lose $100. So if your entry is at $2, stop loss is 180. Of course, we do stop under 180, but for calculation purposes, we keep it simple. 20 cents per share risk, right? This is a 20 cents per share risk, right? So how many shares can you buy? It's simple, right? It's pretty simple. You can buy 500 shares. Because if you have 500 shares at $2 and stop loss is 180, right? 20 cents per share, you're gonna lose how much? 20 cents per share, right? And if you have 500 shares, that means $100. You understand, Henry? What do you mean by your stop loss can't be 1 to 3%? You're risking 1 to 3% already. You imagine that trade risking 1% of the portfolio every time. What do you mean? You think that you're using 1% of the portfolio to get into a trade? That's not what risk is, right? Risk means that you're risking the amount. If it doesn't work out, you lose that amount. How do you manage multiple trades at the same time? I don't. I only at most I manage two momentum trades at the same time, and that's it. Can you show the chart layouts that you have when you have trading multiple stocks? No, I only look at one chart. I switch between the watch lists. Yo, Henry, do you understand what I'm talking about? Okay, yeah. So the stop loss should be set based on the trend line from where you expect to pop when you start a position. It's set based on the trend line, not the position. Yeah, no. My trading plan, okay, my entry and my stop loss is based on the chart. Then how many shares I buy is based on my portfolio risk management. It has nothing to do with it. Okay, this has nothing to do with the chart. Okay, guys? All right, so if not, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. All right. I mean, hopefully, if I don't get hit by any sort of sudden issues, okay. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully, this week is good, like last week. WLDS is very interesting because this ticker is running on offering news, which is absolutely insane. It's not breaking down and stuff, right? And it's still showing a very nice uptrend. A lot of wicks though. But we'll see what happens on Monday, right? Maybe I do think that it's much better for us to have better setups, right? Buru is going very nicely from our entry points as well. So lock it accordingly as you want. Okay? All right. So if not, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm going to upload the recording once it's done, and I'll see you guys around.